Good afternoon. Carol Buckalew here with Inky Stampers. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. So I have something, I've got a fun fold today. I have for you today a double box fun fold. And if I hold the card here up on its end, hello Mary, thanks so much for joining. You can see a box here and then a box here. And this card will stand up nicely on its own. Hey, Rosie, thanks so much for joining. It will stand up on its own, and it will fold flat to fit inside a standard envelope. Hey, Karen, thanks so much for joining. Yeah, we got a fun fold today. So this card was designed for the Happy Ink and Thursday blog hop, which is my usual. You know, my Wednesday video is usually for the card tomorrow. And this was a color challenge for the hop tomorrow. So actually a suite is associated with the colors for that hop, for that challenge. And I don't own that suite yet, But so I did my best here to use at least 5 of the 6 colors in the challenge. This is such an easy fun fold, Rosie. It really is. It's not too hard. Let me just quickly review the products. So I am using the Magical Meadow bundle, both the dies and the stamp set. I'm actually only using this kind of sprig right here for this card, but I did use these 3 sprigs plus this little die which cuts out berries. And I will point out, this sprig has spots for the berries, as does this one. So when you cut these out, there are 11 berries on each of these 2 dies or cutouts. And this little die cuts exactly 11 berries. And just forewarn you, cut extra berries because they are so tiny they get away from you, as I found out when I was prepping for this video. And the dog is coughing, excuse me. She has allergies. I'm so sorry. You okay there, Kens? She gets a little dry throat. Oh my goodness. And it sounds like she's dying, but she's not. I also use the Lasting Joy stamp set. And just for my sentiment, I just used the Thinking of You sentiment. I really like the font in this sentiment. Yeah, 11 berries on each of those little things. And you'll be so happy to know that I did some pre-gluing of berries, so you won't have to watch me glue 22 berries onto those little sprigs. So what happens with those little berries is they kind of stuck to my cutting plate, and I went to pop them off, and they went flying. And I couldn't find them anywhere. I mean, seriously, like not on the floor, not on me. I don't know where they went. I'll find them eventually. But yeah, they went flying. So Lasting Joy for the sentiment. And then the paper is from the One Horse Open Sleigh 6x6 Designer Series paper. This paper, if you've looked at this paper at all, the front side is a scene, which they're beautiful scenes. And the reverse sides are like geometric patterns. So this was Mossy Meadow and Wild Wheat in this particular print. And I needed those colors, so that's what I went with. All right, let's get started. I'm going to bring in my scoring tool. We're going to do a little bit of scoring here. Oh, she's still coughing. Good grief, that poor baby. Oh, we've checked with the vet. It's just her allergies. They have terrible allergies, the poor things. All right, I've got my DSP here kind of taped together so I don't get the panels confused. So this card is made up of basically 2 I call them box spaces. And the first one, the main one, measures 9 3/8 by 4 1/4. And I'm going to get my scoring tool here, and I am going to score this at 3/8 on the long edge, the 9 3/8 edge up. I'm going to score this at 3/8. All right, and 1 3/8. I see comments scrolling, but I can't really. Hey, Akiko, thanks so much. Hey, Faith. So I've got the 1 3/8, 2 7/8. So that should be that one. Hopefully I'm getting this correct. Otherwise, I'm going to be cutting another piece of cardstock. And then 3 7/8. Just kind of double checking to make sure I've got that right. So that's box base number 1. And then we've got box base number 2 here. And this one measures 5 1/8 by 3 1/2 inches. I'm going to put the long, sorry, I'm off screen. I'm going to put the long edge up horizontally. And this one gets scored at 3/8 and 1 3/8. So that's 1, 1, 2, 3. All right, there we go. So that is it for the scoring. Let me put this away, out of my way. And I'm going to grab my bone folder, and we are going to go ahead and burnish all of our score lines. So we are enjoying some really fabulous weather. It's been in the mid 70s during the day. It's going down to the, you know, the low or the high 50s rather at night. It's just been lovely. It has just been absolutely lovely. Okay, that is box base number 1. And let me burnish box base number 2. Make sure that's lined up. Okay, so these little tabs are going to be actually what gets adhered. If you'll notice, this card that I showed you is sitting on a wild wheat base. And I thought I would just change the card I'm making for you today a little bit. And so my base is going to be Calypso Coral, in case you happen to notice that difference. So I've got, you know, these are all mountain folds, and you can see how this is going to curl around and adhere to the back larger portion of this fold. But before I glue anything down, I want to grab my DSP panels, and all of my measurements will be out on my blog tomorrow. So you don't need to worry about, you know, what the measurements are. Yeah, fall is finally in the air. I'm so happy. I just love fall. And this bottle of glue, I'm hoping will last through this video. We'll find out. It's almost out. But I'm going to go ahead and mat this up. So this panel kind of shows through once you create the box portion of the card. And I just need to figure out, that's not right. So, okay. So you want to fold, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some tear and tape here. And you want to fold the card to the right at the 2 7/8 score line, which is right here. So you've got this first score line where the DSP ends, and the next one to the left is where we're going to fold this card flat. And then once I do, that's going to make our perfect box. So let me go ahead and get some tear and tape on this edge. Low 80s, that's a nice temperature too, Faith. Definitely nice weather. Although I can't say we've had a horribly hot summer here. We've had some hot spells, but nothing, you know, that has lasted terribly long. So I'm okay with that. Put my glue cap on so it doesn't dry out on me. And I'm just going to use my tweezers here. You can also use the pointy end of your take your pick tool. And I just realized, hope you guys can hear me okay. I just realized that I probably did not turn my volume up. So again, at the 2 7/8 score line, I'm going to fold that flat, and I'm going to tuck the 3/8 inch tab under, and that's what I just applied the tear and tape to, and I'm going to adhere that down. So now you can see that we've got our first box made. I'm going to go ahead and grab my second piece of DSP for this box base. Oh, Sharon, I bet you were enjoying that 66 degrees having your coffee this morning. Wow. Yeah, it's definitely nice. I had to put a jacket on this morning. I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit chilly. Had to put a jacket on. So I'm going to go ahead and just get this layered up. So this video today is really just about how to make this card. I did a lot of pre-cutting and that kind of thing. I do have a little bit of stamping to do. All right, there we go. We've got our base on. Let me just slide it up a smidgen so I have an equal reveal. There we go. Okay, so that's box base number 1. And we can go ahead and box base number 2 is going to sit about like this. Let me just look at my sample card. I always have to look. Yeah, okay. So what we're going to do for this one is we're going to actually fold it there at that 1 3/8 inch mark. And I'm going to go ahead and put some tear and tape on this little tab. Yeah, I know, Mary, I'm with you. I don't mind bundling up. I love that crisp air. It just feels so fresh, and have the windows open and getting fresh air in the house. Definitely nice. Because I sure don't open the windows in the summer when it's muggy out. All right. Whoops, I'm actually going to keep that on there for just a moment. What I want to do is I want to get the panels for this box base adhered down. And I will tell you that on box base number 2, the measurements are very, and I'm actually looking, did I get this correct? Okay, yeah, I did. But this box base number 2, this panel of DSP is really close. So it is 3 5/8 by 3 3/8. So it's very similar, but the 3 5/8 you want going horizontally. So the longer side goes across the top like that. And let me get this glued down real quick. So this is actually, you know, you kind of have to think this card through a little bit. It's not difficult. It really is not difficult. Just take your time, kind of think it through, and it will be just fine. But it's a fun card. It really is. I love that it folds up, you know, nicely, and I like that it stands up to display too. Alrighty, this is our last piece of DSP. I'm just sitting here wondering if I cut. Yeah, I guess I did. All right. Let's give that a second to adhere. And I'm going to go ahead and take off my tear and tape cover. I am going to fold at the 1 3/8 inch score line. I'm going to fold that completely under. Our tear and tape is under here. I'm going to take box base number 1, right? Put it in front of me. I am going to shift that box to the right so that it lays flat. And then I am going to, I've got to pull this to me. But what I want to do is center this section of box base number 2 across this area of DSP on box base number 1. So I'm looking to center base number 2 on this area right here. And let me see if I can get it straight. And this DSP kind of has some lines. So that is a little bit helpful, right? And I think maybe come down just a hair. And I'm going to use those lines on that DSP to help me line this up. And when I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and give that a press. My tab is actually right about here. Give that a press, and we've got it attached now. So you can see, right, that it's attached. And then all I'm going to do is kind of fold back the other piece, the other end of the box base number 2, and just apply a little bit of glue, maybe about 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to fold box base number 1. This box, I'm going to fold flat to the right. I'm going to fold right where we folded before to put down base number 2. And then I'm going to very carefully lay that down and adhere completely box base number 2 to box base number 1. Yes, definitely you need to pay attention if you have directional DSP for sure. A card not to be done before coffee, it's actually not that bad. Once you get the hang of it, it's not that bad. All right, I just want to make sure that is good and adhered. I don't want it to slide on me. And then if I unfold that, you can see now that we've got our two boxes here for the card. And it does indeed stand up. So we're doing good so far. All right, so I did pre-cut and I pre-glued a little bit, but you know what? I'm getting ahead of, I totally got ahead of myself. I always do that. All right, I should have done a little stamping. Hate when I do that. I hate when that happens. All right, I've got a little bit of stamping to do. I've got some stamping to do on this panel, and I think it'll be okay. I hopefully it'll be okay. And if it messes up where I think it might mess up, it's going to be covered. So we'll give it a whirl. Got my envelope. I've got, I'm calling this my inside panel, but it's actually going to go on the back of the card, give you some place to write. So let me get my stamps out here. So I've got, you know, one of the sprigs from the Magical Meadow set. And I'm going to stamp this in Mossy Meadow ink. And this stamp does not say that it is a distinctive stamp. However, I think it's distinctive. I'm going to partially stamp this several times here in the corner of my inside panel. But if I hold this up, it looks distinctive to me for sure. And it's very pretty, but it kind of shades when you stamp the image, which I love. And I'm going to stamp it again. And then I'm going to stamp it a third time here. All right, so that is our inside panel. And I'm going to do the same on the envelope, but just not quite, I'm not going to extend this greenery up quite so high. So just partial stamping on the envelope front. And one more time here in the corner. All right, that's it for that stamp. And that is our envelope. I'll set that aside to dry. I have here my banner Pick-a-Punch, and I have a sentiment label. This is 3 inches by 1 inch. I am going to just stamp a banner end. Whoops, if I get it in the right hole here. There we go. Whoops. I'm fumbling stuff today. I don't know why. Try to get that sent. So I am pushing that cardstock in as far as it will go, just so you know, and give that a quick punch. And there's our nice banner end. I love this banner Pick-a-Punch. Punches are so convenient. All right. And then I want to stamp the Thinking of You sentiment on our sentiment label. And I'm just going to center it. This is a big label for such a little sentiment, but I think it sets it off nicely. And I went with Calypso Coral instead of Wild Wheat, just to brighten the card up, just to kind of change it around a little bit. All right, there we go. So that is it for the stamping. I'm going to go ahead and put the panel on the back of the card. What set is it that you love, Mary? The Magical Meadow? There we go. Making sure I had my card situated the correct way. Nothing worse than putting a panel down upside down or whatever backwards. Just give that a nice press. Yeah, I like the Magical Meadow too. I love the detailed die cuts. You know, it also has the dies for the images you can stamp and cut out. But then it has these kind of, I call detailed dies, and I love these. So here are my little sprigs. This is Garden Green, and they're very delicate. I will tell you, be very careful when you're punching these out. This one kind of started bending on me, but I managed to salvage it. But you can see how tiny these little berries are. They are just so, they're the tiniest little things I think I've seen from a die cut before. They're really cute. So I've got Calypso Coral berries on this Garden Green stem. And then I've got Poppy Parade on this Garden Green stem. And then I have just a Wild Wheat stem. No berries on this one. So, all right. So I did mention that I do, whoops, I see something here that didn't pop out on the die cut. Let me pop that out real quick while I see it. Boy, I really need to stop drinking so much iced tea. I think it makes me jittery. All right, so I mentioned that I still wanted to stamp on here. So what I had done on the previous card is, you don't see it all that much, but it adds just a little bit of something. But I'm going to bring my Mossy Meadow ink. Oh, they'd have a tough competition with your floaters. Oh, my. Now, I don't know if this is going to work. If I don't stamp off of the panel, it will work. Let me give it a try. But I'm going to stamp from the lower left corner on this piece of DSP. Hold your breath, guys. Fingers crossed. I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to give it a whirl. Yeah, it actually didn't stamp so bad. And I'm going to stamp it again. And just kind of fan it out, you know, from left to right. I'm surprised that it's stamping so well, considering the bump underneath there. Really surprises me. So don't do like I'm doing. Stamp on your DSP panel before you glue it down. I always manage to get ahead of myself. But I can't possibly write enough notes to keep me on track and have room for all the notes I would need. You know what I mean? All right, there we go. Hopefully that ink won't smear. And you can see it's kind of globbed up there in the corner, but that doesn't matter. That's going to be covered by our sentiment label. I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, Keiko, I'm really surprised that that worked out. But, you know, sometimes things work out, right? I'm just going to put some little drops of glue here. This is my Wild Wheat stem. I was noticing on my laptop, really hard to read these colors, and probably because it's overcast out. Maybe I'm just not getting enough light. So I want to get that one glued down kind of in the center there. And then I'm going to put this one up on the left side. And this one you can kind of, you know, put the little drops of glue on the berries, on the backs of the berries. So that Those little berries come in handy. And I'll get some down the stem here just a little bit. I am barely brushing that glue on onto this die cut. And let's, I think I want it to sit a little bit higher like that. Okay, so it is extending just a little bit above this panel, but that's okay. Because that panel, whoops, that panel is not as high as the one behind it. Just make sure we're getting stuck down there, and then we'll get this final one put on. And this one has kind of fat leaves, so that's helpful. And I am going to put some glue dots there on the berries and a little bit here on the stem. And get this one glued down. And I see a little bit of glue there. And I'm just going to take the side of my tweezers and kind of get that up. There we go. I kind of like the Calypso Coral. It really sets the Mossy Meadow off. What do you guys think? The Wild Wheat, it's just very subdued. But I like the little pop of color of the Calypso Coral on this one, I think. I think I'm liking this one better. Yeah, definitely think so. All right, I am just going to get some Stampin' Dimensionals here on the back of, oh, thank you, Mary. Appreciate it. I was worried it was just a little too dark, and that's why I switched up the base. And I really kind of like that Calypso Coral. It does cheer it up a little bit. I really lean to dark colors, fall colors, and I have to be careful sometimes. Because what my brain says is good to me, maybe not be good. It would look good in cherry cobbler too. You're right, Rosie. It would look very good in cherry cobbler. Cherry cobbler is one of my favorite colors. All right. So I've just got some Stampin' Dimensionals here on the back of my sentiment label. Get that popped on. And this is going to go down in the lower left corner. If I can get the dimensional covers off of me. And I'm just giving a very small reveal of that DSP on the left and bottom edge of the sentiment label. And just get that pushed down good. There we go. All right, not too much more. And to change it up just a little bit more, let me bring this card back in. This bow was made from white baker's twine, and I used a Calypso Coral Stampin' Blend to color the twine. But for this card, since I was changing things up a little bit, I thought that I would go with, I thought I would just go with some linen thread, which is like one of my favorites. And I just need 2 links here. I'm going to tie, if I could get it to stop curling on me. Goodness, that thread likes to curl. And I just want a small bow. Grab my scissors here. And, oh, thanks. I appreciate it, guys. Glad you like the card. Just tie a small double bow here. And I did not get that even at all, so let me try that one more time. Yeah, I think I need to lay off the iced tea. That's funny. I buy this specialty. It is like my favorite. It's black currant, and I buy the tea size sachets, which are big, so I can make gallons of it at a time. But maybe I need to lay off the iced tea for a bit. All right, there we go. We got a double bow. Let me just trim these ends up a little bit. And I am going to use a mini glue dot to attach this bow to the corner of, right up here in the corner, just above my sentiment label right there. And I'm just going to kind of roll that glue dot up as I put it down. And let me fold this card flat. It will be much easier to adhere the bow. Almost done here, guys. I'm going to run over just a couple of minutes. There we go. And those are still a little bit long. Just give those a little haircut. All right. And then I think all I need to do is adhere a piece of DSP and put some rhinestones on. Let me grab those before I forget them, because I'm notorious for forgetting my embellishments. Yeah, coloring ribbon is fine. Just make sure you protect your work surface if you're using the Stampin' blends. The other markers are regular markers. The Stampin' Right markers are water-based, but the alcohol markers definitely would stain, your work surface. So you want to be careful, to protect your work surface. And your fingers, if you can help it. I had Calypso coral all over me when I was coloring that twine. It also will, of course, eat up all of your alcohol marker too, so you have to decide how bad you really want to do that. Alrighty. Got that one here. So just so you know, the clearance rack in the online store has been refreshed. And I did see a few Christmas items out there. So if you're looking for some bargains, you might want to check out the clearance rack. You can access that from my blog if you're not sure how to get there, on your own. I've got a link out there. But up to 60% off on items. And if you see something, buy it, because the items that are in the clearance rack are only while supplies last. So don't miss out on grabbing something up if you want it, because it will be sold out. I can assure you, especially the Christmas stuff. Stampin' Up! Did release 5 new designer series papers. Actually, I think just one is a specialty paper. And you can find those in the online exclusive section of the online store. And they're really fun. A couple of Christmas ones, and then one's kind of flowery. And it actually coordinates with one of our stamp sets. I'm getting there, Mary. I actually have that on my list to talk about. And so the third thing on my list is World Card Making Day, which is October 7th. And Stampin' Up! Is going to be having a World Card Making Day event. You can get all of the details on my blog. I will be posting those probably right up until the 7th. Stampin' Up! Encourages you to register for the event, although it's not required. Oh, no worries, Mary. But I actually remembered. You know me, because I forget stuff. So I'm pleased that I remembered. But anyway, Stampin' Up! Encourages you to register for the event, but it's not required. But if you register that way, if you've got issues or something, they're going to be able to help you. There will be support on the day of the event. And in conjunction with Stampin' Up's World Card Making Day event, the Ink and Crew, which is my team, is also going to be hosting an event on Facebook. And you'll be able to catch live presentations, and they will be scheduled before and after, so around the Stampin' Up! Event. So our presentations won't interfere with Stampin' Up! And then others on our team, will be posting, card samples and possibly tutorials as well. They just may not be doing a live presentation. So that's fun. I can tell you that last year, that event was so much fun. I really, really enjoyed it. The Ink and Crew event as well as Stampin' Up's event. It was just a whole lot of fun. The Stampin' Up! Event, I do have links on my blog. for card measurements for the projects they're going to be working on. So if you'd like to cut your supplies ahead of time, you'll be able to do that. And then there's card measurements and then a supply list. There's 2 separate links. So you'll find those out on my blog. To finish up my card here, I am going to just put on a couple of iridescent rhinestones. I'm absolutely in love with these. They are so pretty, and they tend to pick up whatever color, you know, you're putting them against. So in this case, they're kind of picking up that mossy meadow in the background there. I think I'm going to put one right there. And that is my card for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I will have, you know, a tutorial on my blog tomorrow with all the cutting dimensions, detailed instructions, photos to help you recreate this card if you'd like to. But that is the card for today. A double box fancy fold. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for hanging with me today. I will see you next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Will we post a schedule for crew presenters? I believe that we did that last year, Faith. And Amy had indicated that she'll set the Facebook group up so people can start joining the group ahead of the event. She mentioned she was going to get that set up by the end of September. Mary is saying a big yes on sharing a schedule, but we did share that last year, and we all will be getting that out on our blog. So, you know, just keep an eye out for that information. I'm thinking the end of September, you know, about a week in advance, you know, we should have that information to share. All right. Again, thanks so much. You all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.